All right, I'm back at the hangar, and my first solo was 2 weeks ago. I haven't flown since then, but now I'm going to do something cool. Also, I am going to take my first night flight, so that's something I'm super looking forward to. Everyone says that it's really pretty to fly at night, and the air is still, and everything's going to be kind of different, so I'm really excited about that. And also, as a special treat, I got a passenger. I brought Quincy along with me, my beautiful bride, and she is going to be the passenger for our night flight, and we're going to kind of do a little St. Louis sightseeing too, I'm told, I hope. So hopefully we'll fly by the arch and some other cool stuff like that, although there's a baseball game going on now, so I'm not sure how close we'll be able to get to the arch. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. So are you excited? Have you ever flown on a small plane before?
I think when I was a little kid, I can barely remember, but I was braver then, I think.
Yeah, you're gonna be fine. You're in good hands. I've done one solo, so what could possibly go wrong? And we will have Andre, the flight instructor, with us, so it's gonna be a-okay. So anyway, looking forward to it.
Me too.
Cool. All right, so the flight was a couple days ago, and I thought we would get together and kind of talk about it because it was a pretty exciting experience. It was really fun. So yeah, right after I shot that intro video, I did the pre-flight of the plane and taxied out to the runway, and we took off from runway 30 left, which is kind of this cool takeoff from downtown airport, because right as you take off, you see the city skyline in front of you, and the sun had just set about 20 minutes prior, so it's kind of that cool dusk twilight time. It just had the sky all colorful, and yeah, it was awesome. And we got approval to do the arch tour, which is which means you kind of fly north up the river, the Mississippi River, and you get to pass right by the arch in downtown St. Louis, which was super exciting because, as I said in the intro, there was a baseball game going on, so that airspace around Busch Stadium is restricted, but they allowed it, so that was super cool. So I don't know what you thought of the takeoff and your first time up in the air.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting. We got up in the air pretty quickly, it felt like, and rose up quickly, and the plane felt like it was floating on the breeze. It just felt smaller than planes that I've been on before, and I just, whew. And then, yeah, we like suddenly made this big tilt turn, I guess, to the right, and I was looking down, and there was the ground, and I was looking out the left window, and there was the sky, and it was a little scary for me. I was looking at you guys, trying to figure out if everything was under control.
It was, yes.
Oh.
Standard 30-degree turn.
It was all new to me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But then we looked over, and there was the river, and right on the other side of the river was our neighborhood, and we tried looking at the sea of red brick houses for our red brick house, but it was a little tricky, but we could see a lot of familiar sights, and going past along downtown was really cool to see the arch and the city all lit up, yet still the sun setting behind, and the stadium was all brightly lit with people in seats.
Yeah, I mean, it was a breathtaking view. It was just the prettiest thing I'd experienced, I think, when flying. It was just a cool time of day to be doing it, and so I got to take in a little bit of it. But usually when I'm flying, I'm pretty locked in forward. But and then I was thinking about the next phase of the flight, which I didn't mention in the intro. But when I first came to Andre with this idea of taking a night flight with Quincy, he said, "Oh, do you think you guys might want to land at Lambert Airport?" I'm like, "What?" I didn't know that it was possible to land at Lambert, or I mean, I knew it was possible for a small plane to land at Lambert, but I thought there'd be big fees or something associated with that would make it not something we could do. But he said, "Oh yeah, we can do it. I mean, they don't have to let you in the airspace if they're busy or whatever, but we can ask, because as a visual flight rules flight, you're kind of the lowest priority to come into the airspace." But anyway, as we're flying north of the river, we were approaching the airspace, so we had to ask. And so thank goodness Andre was handling the radios for this whole flight. I couldn't have kept up. It was just so hectic and busy. So he asked for permission to enter the airspace, and the controller immediately came back with, "I got a bunch of regional jets all lined up. I don't know. Just turn to the right, turn to the south, and I'll see what I can do," or whatever. But I was like, okay, this is a blow off. He's not gonna allow us to do this. And
Sure to keep number 552 having a radar contact 11 miles east of Lambert 2000. Say request.
Cessna 5520 November, we'd like to do some pattern work at Lambert if possible, or at least one touch and go if that's available.
November 5520 November, right now I've got 7, 8 regional jets inbound. I have to get you south of the south side. If you want to remain below the Bravo and give me a right turn to a 180.
Remaining below the Bravo, right turn to heading of a 180, Cessna 5520 November.
What were you thinking this time?
Yeah, I was kind of happy because it seemed like we were turning the opposite direction away from the airport, and I had heard rumors about this Lambert thing, but I had pushed it out of my head because it seemed too crazy. And yeah, then it turned, then we like all of a sudden I looked out of my window and there were airplanes lined up in the sky heading toward Lambert, and I thought, oh, there's no way they're gonna let us into this train of planes, and okay, good, this is over.
Yeah, but very shortly after we turned south, they said, okay, now take a right turn to the west, and we'll get you lined up for runway 29. And I was like, oh my gosh, I think this is actually going to happen. So we're flying along with the big boys kind of all around us. I don't know, could you see them out there? I was just looking forward, but
yeah, there were planes on both sides, it felt like, and at one point they said a 737 was flying above us, and then an alarm went off and said there's traffic on your right.
4 o'clock.
Warning, hello. That was terrifying. I was just listening, taking it all in, enjoying it, but also like really scared because I didn't understand what everybody was talking about and what was happening.
Yeah, so we were flying along, and I guess then the next phase was that we got handed off to the tower controller, who's the one who kind of approves you to land on the to land, and not only did he grant approval for landing, but he said we could stay in the pattern after our landing, meaning we could practice landings at Lambert Airport. So I don't know if you knew that at all.
No, I did not catch that at all.
November 5520 November, St. Louis Tower 13109, runway 29, and quit for the option, same tensions on the go.
Quit for the option, and if probably not possible to do pattern work, but if possible, we'd like pattern work. 5520 November.
November 20 November, left close traffic is approved on the go.
Left coast traffic on the go for runway 29, Cessna 5520 November.
That was a little concerning at one point when Andre asked, did you see the runway? Fairly casually, and Dave said...
Yeah, I was like, no, not really. He's like, oh, it's over there. You see it? I'm
like a long pause.
Having trouble. Yeah,
that one right there.
Southwest 960 ground. A little bit left. Next to you, Charlie, Tango, cross runway 24, make sure you got Papa.
You see that?
Southwest 9028, got traffic on about a 4-mile final. I know. A small fixed wing, 13108 on F, 2 Hagee, runway 29, quit for takeoff.
Yep, that one right there.
Okay. I guess I need to get down, right?
And Dave's like, oh, I still don't see the runway.
Yeah, it's true. It's a little embarrassing. I don't know why I couldn't see it. I mean, there's you're just in a sea of lights. It's all the airport lights. All the taxiways are all lit up and everything. And I just assumed that the runway would really stick out, but I was having trouble seeing it. And then finally I did see it, and it was like as obvious as I couldn't believe I had missed it. But yeah. So.
November, traffic will depart at 737, caution, wake turbulence for them.
Clear for traffic, 20 November. Right there in front of us, lit up like a Christmas tree.
Southwest 1056, left it.
To the left a little bit.
Right on Echo Lima. Okay. I'm going to your left ramp with me.
Right there.
Oh, yes, okay. Geez, sorry, that was crazy. Okay, I'm low, it says. On Delta 5, you can join Delta, and then Delta Tango cross. Okay, all right.
I was glad when he saw the runway, I know that.
All right, so then once I saw the runway, then it was time to start our descent. So yeah, I mean, I was obviously kind of nervous because I'd never landed at night before, and I didn't know, how different it would be. But it felt pretty calm and stable, in my opinion. I don't know how you felt. Probably not stable. I don't know.
About the landing?
Well, just the approach.
Oh. It was all scary.
It was all scary. I felt pretty decent about it. But one really cool thing, I mean, it was beautiful too. All the lights were just really impressive how well it was lit up. But one thing that was cool is that I could see off the side of the runway there were two jets waiting on us. There was like a Southwest plane and an American Airlines plane, I think, waiting for us to finish our landing. So I sort of feel bad if you were flying out of Lambert that night and you were trying to make it home to tuck your kids in bed and you missed that. I'm so sorry that me and our slow Cessna held up your plans, but it was pretty cool for me. So anyway, but yeah, so the landing I think was actually pretty good. I was pretty happy with it. I don't know what you thought. Did you ever?
I was just glad to be on the ground, I think.
Wow, this is cool, man.
Nice.
Skybass 7567 holding short runway 29. Roger, be right with you for traffic.
Trying to touch down as early as possible. We got wake turbulence. Okay, that's terrible. Alright, and get going. Stop as soon as possible. And full throttle, full throttle.
Yeah, we didn't spend long on the ground because we wanted to get out of the jet's way, and so Andre was saying, full throttle, let's go. So took off, and then he wanted me to sidestep to the left side of the runway again, just to kind of clear the way for the jets to take off. So we quickly made our turn out on the pattern, and we didn't get a chance to revel in the thrill of landing at Lambert too long because it was time to start thinking about my next landing. But the nice thing about this one is they wanted us to extend our downwind, so to fly away from the airport for a while, so that to give the two jets time to take off. So I got to kind of look around and see, the parking garage that I park whenever I'm going out, traveling, and the control tower was there, and all the hotels, and just all the pretty sights that we were seeing, just flying real low and slow above it all. I don't know, did you get to enjoy it?
Yeah. It was probably just about that time that I was realizing that we were not heading home, and was finally dawning on me that we were going back around to land again, even though we already survived and I thought we were done and out of there. So that's what I was coming to that realization. And the other thing that was scaring me at that point was lots of talk about be careful about jet wake turbulence. And Andre kept saying, okay, we got to be careful about jet wake turbulence, and I did not know what that was. And I knew what a wake was, and I knew what turbulence was, and I was preparing myself to get blasted out of the sky by a jet.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense that would be semi-scary for you. But wake turbulence is just kind of off big jets. You have to be careful because planes produce these kind of spinning vortices, wind currents off the tips of their wings that sink down, and as in a small plane you've got to be careful because that they could the worst case scenario flip you over or something. But nothing to worry about. But that's what the air traffic controllers do. They keep you separated pretty far from the big boys, and but you just kind of have to be aware of where they're landing and taking off from, and try to avoid that area where their wings were producing lift. But
yeah, I didn't know any of that.
Yeah,
I just know he kept saying it.
Yeah, sorry, I probably should have warned you about that. I did know that they would be talking about that a lot. But anyway, so once those two jets were gone, then we could make our second landing at Lambert. So I did that, and that went pretty well too. That time we did a stop and go, so we came to a full stop on the runway so that I could get credit for a nighttime landing. For some reason, the rules on nighttime landings is you have to come to a full stop to make it count. So came to a full stop, then immediately took off again, did the pattern one more time, and landed a third time at Lambert. And the next time we took off, I think Andre said, you want to keep going? And I said, I think I'm good. Like, let's just fly away to calmer skies, and so we could.
So happy.
Good. I'm glad you were happy. I was happy to get out of there too. It was awesome, but I was ready for a break from the stress. So So we flew back home. Kind of took this cool route over St. Louis at nighttime. Kind of flew to the southeast there, so we went like over Clayton and Brentwood, and could see all the lights of these Clayton and these city areas, and then also over the parks, Forest Park, which was dark, and Tower Grove Park, it was dark, kind of a darkness in the sea of lights, and it was really cool. Yeah, and we flew over the Climatron at the Botanical Gardens, and yeah, soon we were close to downtown again, and could see all the downtown lights and Union Station, and we asked for the Arch Tour one more time, but they actually denied it that time because of the Cardinals game was still going on, which I thought was kind of silly because they'd already approved us one time. I think this was a different controller, so they didn't let us go that time. But that's all right. We got to see it once, and so we just came in for a landing back at the same runway 30 left that we took off from. And another nighttime landing, came to a stop, and then actually took off again just to get one more practice in, because why not? And landed for the last time right at about 10 o'clock, right as the tower was closing down. So I felt kind of good about that we got the last landing in, and taxied back to the hangar and put the plane away for the night, and that was that. And it was just an amazing experience. The whole flight lasted 58 minutes according to the flight data, but I just can't even believe that. It felt like it was like 3 hours of excitement.
There was a lot of action
fun,
packed.
maybe a little terror. Terror for you. I wasn't really terrified, but it was stressful for sure. But it was really awesome, all in all.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, we've had a lot of fun remembering it all and telling the kids about it, and yeah, lots of excitement. And I've been trying to think about if I would do it again. It would be I was trying to think about that in the air
Your
too.
answer?
Did I make a good choice being up there? But yes, I would. I don't know. I survived, so I feel like maybe I should cut my losses. Like a normal plane ride would be great, but this Lambert excitement was a lot.
Yeah, I don't think I'll need to go to Lambert anytime soon again, but I'm so glad I did it. I will always, I think, remember this time that when I'm flying out of Lambert on Southwest Airlines or whatever, and I look out the window and see runway 29 and go, I landed there 3 times at night for the first time in a Cessna 172, and I think that's going to be pretty cool to always have that memory of that. So yeah, it was really sweet. So
yep, I was glad to be there with you.
yeah, thanks for coming along. It was fun to have you along. And and so one of my cameras actually was in time-lapse mode. I didn't realize it, so I didn't get necessarily the video that I wanted out of it, but it made for a cool time-lapse. So here's that time-lapse of our whole flight, and thanks for watching. See you later.
Bye-bye.